Fine. So we were dealing with unit 3, that is parasympathomimetics and the drugs acting on ANS. Under that, in unit 2, we saw sympathomimetics and sympatholytics. In unit 3, we have started seeing parasympathomimetics, and then after we'll see parasympatholytics. So parasympathomimetics can also be called as cholinomimetics, and parasympathetic nervous system can also be called as cholinergic nervous system. The name cholinergic nervous system is assigned keeping in view the chief neurotransmitter of the division is acetylcholine. Okay, so based on the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, we can call it as cholinergic nervous system. Okay, so cholinomimetics are the molecules which acts similar to acetylcholine. Okay, under that we saw the classification of parasympathomimetics. So it is mainly classified into direct acting agents and indirect acting agents. Direct acting agents, we have two more subcategories. One is cholinesters, the other one is cholinomimetic alkaloids. So the first one is acetylcholine. It is an artificial acetylcholine resembling our biological acetylcholine. Then carbachol, betanicol, methacholine. So there are four examples under cholinesters. Then cholinomimetic alkaloid, only one example, that is pilocarpine. Then we have indirect acting agents. Subcategories are reversible and irreversible mainly. Okay, reversible and irreversible. So yesterday I have told you the difference. They act by binding to cholinesterase enzyme. Cholinesterase enzyme is involved in breaking down the acetylcholine molecule after it got released and shown its action, and choline as well as acetyl coenzyme can be recycled from there. So if you inhibit such enzyme, the cholinergic actions will be prolonged. Okay, so reversible agents, what they do, reversible cholinomimetics, they will inhibit for a moment of the time and they will again unbound with the enzyme, so that enzyme will go and again catabolize the acetylcholine. But in case of irreversible cholinomimetic agents, they will permanently damage the inactivate the enzyme cholinesterase. So the cholinergic action will be sustained for a longer time, which is a fatal. Okay, which is fatal to the life. Then in order to treat such conditions, we have cholinesterase deactivator. Example is pralidoxime. So indirect acting cholinomimetics, reversible candidate examples are physostigmine, neostigmine, pyridostigmine, hydrophonium chloride, aminonium chloride, tacrin. You will find these names on eye drops. Okay, and irreversible cholinomimetics are isofluorophate, ecothiopate, parathion, and malathion. You will find these names where? Where do you find these names? On pesticide and insecticide labels. Okay, and in case of cholinergic poison, that means poison due to irreversible cholinomimetics, you need to use cholinesterase deactivator, that is pralidoxime chloride. Fine. So let me clear this page. Then we also saw the biosynthesis of acetylcholine. Okay, so let me summarize it for you. So initially in the mitochondria of the cell, mainly neuronal cell, so can be also called as axon. Okay, inside the mitochondria, with the help of ATP as energy source. Okay, coenzyme and acetate molecules both are fused together and forms acetyl coenzyme. Acetyl coenzyme will be transported into cytoplasm. At the same time, in the extracellular fluid outside the axon, there are choline molecules will be transported inside the cytoplasm or exoplasm through active transport. Active transport is transport in which we consume some energy for that. Okay, that is active transport. Once choline molecules and acetyl coenzyme are into the cytoplasm, okay, there is an enzyme called cholinester transferase, okay, that will fuse choline molecules and acetyl coenzyme into acetylcholine. After acetylcholine is prepared in the cytoplasm, will be transported into vesicles and stored there. When a stimulus to release such acetylcholine is there, there will be changes in action potential. What happens during that action potential? Signal conduction, calcium ions will influx. Okay, influx means coming. Then this vesicle goes to the synaptic cleft and attaches its membrane with that and opens up through the process called exocytosis, and the acetylcholine molecules are released into the synapse. After acetylcholine molecules are released in the synapse, they will bind to the respective cholinergic receptors. With that, the function of acetylcholine is over. That is done. After acetylcholine showing its actions will be acted upon by cholinesterase, enzyme called cholinesterase will break down acetylcholine into again choline molecule and acetylcholine, which can be recycled to form a new molecule of acetylcholine. Okay, this is what happens. So this is the summary of biosynthesis and catabolism of acetylcholine. Now let us see the structure of acetylcholine. Acetylcholine. So here also you should remember the structure, general structure. So it will be helpful for us when we deal with the structure activity relationships. This is an amino group. Will have 3 methyl groups attached to it and an ethyl bridge. And an acetyl group, and it is a chloride salt. Here nitrogen lost its lone pair of electrons, so it will attain positive charge. It is a quaternary ammonium group. So this is the structure of acetylcholine. So the nitrogen attached with 3 methyl groups can be called as onium group. And this can be called as choline molecule or choline, ethylene bridge. Okay, and this is acetate. That is why it is called acetylcholine. Acetylcholine. So it will be in a salt form. So as ammonia is in positive charge, it will be balanced with chloride minus and forms the salt. So this is the structure of acetylcholine. So did you get it? Can you compare it with that of sympathetic drugs? Any of sympathomimetics? Here you don't have aryl group. There you have catechol, here there is no catechol. That is the difference. There you have ethylene bridge, here also you have ethylene bridge. Okay, and there ethanol amines, here there is no hydroxyl group. Okay, here you have acetate as main component. Okay, this is the parent chain for parasympathomimetics. So the next drug is carbachol. So let's see how it looks like. Now you please compare the structure of carbachol with that of acetylcholine. Can you compare and tell me your observations in comparison with the structure of acetylcholine to that of carbachol? Here the onium ion is same, ethylene bridge is same. Only the modification is on acetate molecule. Okay. So what is it? Amide group is attached instead of CH3. Instead of methyl, you have added amino group to the in the acetate molecule. So that makes us carbachol. Can you identify the difference? Okay, carbachol, we should learn the synthesis. Okay. So the starting material for the synthesis of carbachol is ethylene chlorohydrin and phosgene. Phosgene is a gas. Can anyone tell me the molecular structure of phosgene or molecular formula of phosgene? So ethylene chlorohydrin. This is ethylene chlorohydrin and phosgene. What is phosgene? A carbonyl group having two chlorines on both the sides is phosgene. Remember, phosgene is a gas. It is ethylene chlorohydrin. So both the molecules will condense to form chloroethyl chloroformate. This O came from ethylene chlorohydrin. Okay. So this H and this chlorine went away. Simple condensation. Okay. Simply we have condensed ethylene chlorohydrin and phosgene. So the name is chloroethyl chloroformate. Formic acid HCHO you must be knowing. Okay. Chloroethyl chloroformate. Then you will add chloroethyl urethane. You will add ammonia. You will add ammonia in ether. Again, a mole of HCl will be lost. Simple condensation. Okay. What happens? Instead, in the place of chlorine, one of the chlorines attached to the acetate group, amino group comes and gets attached. So if you observe, it is just like building blocks. Okay. So the name of this compound is chloroethyl urethane. Chloroethyl urethane. To this you add trimethylamine to get onium ion. Nitrogen attached with the 3 methyl groups is called as trimethylamine. So you will get carbachol. The structure of carbachol is above. So compare the synthesis with that of the structure of carbachol. So first we have added ethylene chlorohydrin, so you are getting choline molecule, the center part. Okay, and you condensed it with phosgene. So with the loss of one molecule of hydrochloric acid, you got chloroethyl chloroformate. At this point of time, you have acetate as well as choline part of the final molecule. To this you add ammonia. So you got amino group, the nitrogen, okay, NH2, that is attached to acetate. So what else we need to get? To the other end of the choline molecule, you need to get onium ion, that is nitrogen attached with 3 methyl groups. For that we are adding trimethylamine. So finally we got our carbachol. So this is the synthesis of carbachol. It is also little retrosynthetic way we can remember. Coming to the next structure, that is excuse me, bethanycol. Now observe the structure and compare with acetylcholine. It is also chloride salt. Write onium ion first. Don't forget positive charge on nitrogen. So what is the difference from carbachol and bethanycol, and what is the difference between bethanycol and acetylcholine? So you have onium group as such, choline molecule as such, but only the difference is methyl group is attached here. Okay, and the CONH2 as like that in carbachol. So it is a chloride salt. So don't forget, whenever onium ion nitrogen is given positive charge, you should balance it with some salt form, either chloride or bromide or iodide, depending on the drug candidate. Okay, now let us compare our the fourth structure, that is methacholine. Methacholine is a chloride salt again. Again onium ion. So nitrogen will attain positive charge as it lost its lone pair of electrons. Choline molecule attached with methyl substituent as like in bethanycol. So see. So it is again the NH2 in bethanycol is again reverted back to methyl group, and you have extra substituent on CH3. Can you compare it with acetylcholine? It is nothing but having just methyl group extra from acetylcholine. Am I right? Excuse me. These four are very easy to remember. See, You have to remember the acetylcholine structure. Okay, ammonium ion, choline molecule, acetate molecule. To this, if you add methyl group to the choline, that will be methacholine. If it is NH2 instead of CH3 in acetate moiety, that is bethanychol. Okay, what is carbachol? Carbachol is just simply not having methyl group, and CH3 in acetate is replaced with NH2. That's it. Gradually you are changing the groups for four. If you remember acetylcholine and remember four differences, you can easily remember four structures. Is it easy? Let me demonstrate this for you. Now I'll compare acetylcholine. What changes are done to get what molecule? Okay, new drug candidate. Okay. So this is the acetylcholine. You should remember there is ammonium ion, that is N triple CH3. Okay, as it has lost ammonia, generally will be like this. Ammonia is this attached to something. Amine. Okay. This lone pair of electrons should be always there on nitrogen. But in case of acetylcholine or ammonium ion, you are not getting it. Okay. So you are losing those lone pair of electrons. So when whatever the atom or group is rich in electron will be negative. When it lost its electron, it will converted into positive. That should be clear in your mind. Okay. In ammonium ion, generally nitrogen's valence is 3, so it can bind only to 3. So let us assume this and this are bound already, but you are adding extra fourth one how can be added? With the help of lone pair of electrons only. So it is losing its lone pair of electrons, so it will attain positive charge. Okay, so that is ammonium ion. Now it is directly linked with choline molecule, that is CH2CH. Ethylene bridge which is directly attached to ammonium can be called as choline molecule. It should be remembered. Okay, and acetate. So ammonium, choline, and acetate are making acetylcholine. Okay, acetate is nothing but CH3, CH3COOH is acetic acid. Okay, CH3COOH is acetic acid. And if you remove hydrogen in order to attach it to something, and it is acetate. Okay, so this you must be knowing, I guess. So we have this acetate group in the acetylcholine. So you should remember this. If you know this, it is very easy to remember the structure of acetylcholine. Now let us see the modifications what needs to be done to get the next candidate. Okay, you replace CH3 with NH2. Replace CH3 with NH2, get what? Carbachol. Replace CH3 with NH2 to get carbachol. Right. Then this NH2 is replaced, as the CH3 is replaced with NH2, and here you have added methyl group. That will give you bethanychol. Okay, after getting bethanychol, this will give you bethanychol. Okay, and again you replace this NH2 in bethanychol and add methyl group in the same position. Like that, acetylcholine. That will give you a substituent, and a methyl group will give you methacholine. So now I guess it is very easy to understand and remember the differences of four candidates under choline esters. This is R COOR. So an ester. Choline ester. That is the category these candidates belong to. Okay. So this is the structure of acetylcholine. If you remember acetylcholine and differences between acetylcholine and other four drugs, carbachol, bethanechol, and methacholine, it is very easy to remember their structure. So then coming to the next category, that is cholinomimetic alkaloid. Let's see the structure of that alkaloid. What is that alkaloid? Cholinomimetic alkaloid, what is it? Example, pilocarpine, right? So pilocarpine, it is having two heterocyclic 5-membered rings attached with methylene group. Let me. So what is this ring? Did you see these rings? In the first class, I have told you basic heterocyclic rings. Is this furan? And is this, what is this? Is this imidazole?
Yes.
So imidazole, and here you see lack of double bond. So it is imidazolin, and this can be called as furanone. Furanone means double bond O. Furanone. Okay, furanone. So remember, these two rings are attached with the help of methylene bridge, and here you have substituent C2H5 means ethyl group attached to furanone. Okay, and here N methyl group. So this is the structure of pilocarpine. Pilocarpine is an alkaloid. We can't create any structure. So it is the natural structure of the alkaloid pilocarpine. We can synthesize this structure in the lab. That's it. So this is how you should remember the chemical structure of pilocarpine. So these all are the structures under direct acting agents. Okay, let's move forward and see the indirect acting cholinomimetics. So first one is reversible, right? Under reversible you have physostigmine, neostigmine, pyridostigmine, hydrophonium chloride, ambinonium chloride, tacrin. First one is physostigmine. So let's see the structure of physostigmine. Remember this heterocyclic ring fusion. This benzene is fused with the pyrrolidine, as only one double bond is there, and this has methyl group attached at this junction and N-methyl groups on both nitrogens. Okay, and here you have methyl carbamide side chain, C double bond O, sorry, directly attached to oxygen, then C double bond O. CH. So this is the structure of physostigmine. So you have indole. Indole is benzene fused with the pyrrole. Till here it is indole, and you have pyrrolidine. This can be pyrrolidine. So indole and pyrrolidine fused together is the basic moiety. You need to remember it because these structures are idealized from their natural forms. So they exist in nature like this. So you have to remember. So you have to remember that physostigmine will have this heterocyclic fused 3 rings and the substituents. Now let us compare it with the pyridostigmine. The next one is neostigmine, I guess. So I'll compare it with here physostigmine and neostigmine. So it will have a benzene ring. It will have onium ion. This is attached to a phenyl ring, and it has O C double bond O and CH3 and CH. Both hydrogens of amino group are replaced with this one. This whole molecule is a salt form of bromide salt form. There is a minus charge, it is on onium ion. So this is the structure of neostigmine. You have to just compare and remember the differences. Is it clear? We'll see the synthesis of neostigmine later. First we'll see the structures of other candidates. So what other examples are there? You have pyridostigmine, means it will contain pyridine. Hydrophonium, we'll see it. And what else are there? Ambinonium chloride. It will look big, but you can easily remember by applying the logic and tagging. Okay. Let's see them in the next class. Okay.